What's going on, y'all? It's Malcolm, and welcome to the Loung'n Now podcast. Whether you're joining us for the first time or you're a returning lounger, I'm excited to have you here. For our new listeners, Loung'n Out is a podcast where we dive into a variety of topics that I find fascinating. From video games, fragrances, movies, shows, to comics, all along the way, we'll have engaging discussions and entertaining conversations. And for my returning loungers, welcome back. Your support really does mean the world to me, and I appreciate you pulling up. Whether you're new or returning, I do encourage you to follow the podcast so you never miss an episode. Whether you decided to hit that follow button before we begin, in the middle of an episode that catches your interest, or after you listen to what you feel is a fire episode, your support is truly appreciated. Let's keep the conversations going and the community growing. Thank you for being a part of the Lounge crew. What's going on, guys? It's Malcolm, and welcome to the Loung'n Now podcast. Today, I got a special podcast with Devon Lewis, who's going to be our actor on Shield of the North. It's being written and directed by Leslie Hamilton. They're here to talk about Shield of the North, and hopefully, y'all check it out. It should be a good show. From what I've seen of the teaser trailer, it looks like it's going to be awesome. And without further ado, welcome, Devon and Leslie. How y'all doing?
Doing good, man.
Good,
Yeah.
thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
No problem, man. I appreciate y'all showing up. You know what I mean?
Excited to be here.
Yeah. So, what inspired you to start making a writing Shield of the North?
Oh man, you want the quick answer or the long answer?
I mean, yeah.
So really, it boils down to I started acting, and you can't see me, but I put acting in air quotes.
Right.
Back in like 2022-ish. And I've been auditioning and doing some local stuff here and there over the last couple of years, and I really love like medieval times, Viking age, high fantasy, Lord of the Rings, that kind of stuff. And you just don't see that in this area. Like nobody's making anything like that. And this is no knock to indie filmmakers, but like they all make horror films. Horror is, they love to make them. There's a good fan base for horror, so they know people are going to watch it. And you can almost do whatever you want with a horror film. You just make it your own, right? There's not a lot of rules you have to follow. So I started off with this idea where I was just going to write like a little short film, 10, 15 minutes. And I was going to act in it. Devon was going to act in it. And it was just going to be, just like a small little production. I ended up writing a screenplay for it. And then I didn't really know what to do after that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the inspiration just came from nobody else around here doing it.
Right.
And then I decided to write my own because I like that style, I like that time period.
It's cool.
I like Vikings. I think it's a cool time period in history, and you can really get a lot of like cool stories, out of that time period.
Yeah. I'm not too familiar with like the whole Viking lore. Like I've, seen a few movies and whatnot, but I've never really like, delved like really deep into it, I guess, so this will actually be like a nice little, intro to the Viking world for me. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, right there with you.
Oh, really?
I mean, I'm no like Viking age historian or anything.
Right.
What I mean? Like I've done a fair bit of research for the project,
cool.
But a lot of it just came from
just
a passion project type deal, and we're trying to keep it historically accurate in some capacities with wardrobe and weapons and that kind of stuff. But it is fiction, like it's a made up story. So.
Right. I mean, it looked really good from what I've seen on the trailer. Like everybody's like wardrobe and everything. Yeah, I was like, wow, they really got a nice production going on, man.
Yeah, we're trying. It blew up into a pretty big project, and luckily I put together a team of awesome people.
Right.
Jonathan Wade, my director of photography, Angela Grimm, my assistant director. Devon's helped a lot. He's acting, but he's also helping with production. Austin and Dylan Shell from Crucible Media. They've all been amazing, and I really don't know what I'm doing. It's my first
big project.
Yeah, it's my first time writing and directing. Period.
Right.
And without these guys and the team that I put together, we wouldn't be anywhere near to where we are today.
That's cool. So, does it make you nervous? Like, how big it blew up, or how much it blew up?
I don't know if nervous is the right word.
Right.
It's been kind of cool, just kind of watching it go from this idea I had of a little short film into this pilot episode for, we want to make a whole season of it, but when we want to do the pilot right first and, get people to really buy into it and enjoy it and like it. And then hopefully after that, we can secure some funding for making a full season.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Like I said, I mean, I was pretty impressed. Not that I wouldn't have been, but yeah, just from seeing everything, I was like, I got to see more of this. So.
Absolutely.
I got to give another shout out to Tommy Schaefer. Okay. He's a good friend of mine. He works at OHD Studios, and he's the one who edited our teaser trailer. And he did a really good job of bringing the vision that me and Jonathan had to life with his editing, and did pretty sweet.
Okay,
sweet job there.
Cool. So Devon, you're playing Leif. I'm sorry. Rorik's buddy. So how'd you get ready for that, and what makes Leif so interesting to the story?
Well, I'm still getting ready for it, but whenever he first brought this up to me, I was like, cool, another short film. More practice for me to do, and then it slowly blew up, and I was like, holy crap, And then as I was helping with the casting and all that stuff, got to see other actors and actresses do their job and really put on a show, and it's really cool to see that from the other side of the camera.
That's cool, man. Yeah. So like you acted previously to this series?
Yeah, I've been acting since 2018.
2018, really? Yeah. Cool. So do you have any like pieces that you can like send me a link to, and I can put it in the
most
description?
of my short films and all that kind of stuff is on YouTube.
Okay.
So I can send those links out anytime. Right. There's been a few things I've done that I've been on Discovery Channel once. That was really cool. On the show Expedition Unknown.
Yeah.
Got to play Babyface Nelson. That was a lot of fun. Done some background acting. That's what I started out doing, was background acting, making sure I really wanted to do this field.
Okay.
And, the biggest thing I've done in background wise was Judas and the Black Messiah.
Okay.
So I got to watch Martin Sheen do his big scenes, and that was a lot of fun. It was really cool, man. Just to watch him in his atmosphere.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, man. So like, you trying to take it like further than that? Just see where it goes, I guess.
Yeah, mainly see where it goes.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be on the rock status or nothing like that.
Right. Yeah,
I enjoy it. It's a great hobby of mine, and I like doing it.
Cool, man.
Getting paid for it's also another thing. And I was just bringing magic to it.
Yeah. That's cool, man. So it looks like you got a great movie cast. Thor, was it Ira?
Ira. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't do it, but in my mind, like, you kind of roll the R.
Oh, okay.
I'm not very good with the dialect myself.
Okay. So you got Astrid. Was it Jarl or Jarl?
Jarl Torvik.
Jarl Torvik.
Yeah. And Jarl is a title.
A title?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the Viking Age. It's like the leader of the clan, or,
Okay.
equivalent to like a lord or a baron or something in like medieval time England.
Nice. So how'd you go about choosing them, and what were you after in the actors?
Yeah, so when I wrote it, I had a pretty distinct vision for each character that I was looking for. I was open to anybody auditioning, but admittedly, in the back of my mind, like, Rorik, I wrote originally for me, right? So when I was casting for him, I naturally was gravitating towards people who looked like me. Brown hair. I used to have a beard. I just shaved it like a week ago. And yeah, so I posted the casting call, and I got a ton of submissions for every role. Some of the roles I didn't even post a casting call for. And the auditions were amazing. The cast is so talented, man. They're so fun to work with too. Like, we worked together, we shot the teaser trailer and done some table reads, and they're all so energetic and have really bought into portraying these characters and bringing the vision that I have to life in their own unique ways. And bringing their unique skill sets to each character. And a couple of the characters, like Astrid, for example, she wasn't in the original script, right? She auditioned for Ira, and my actress for Ira that I went with, her name is Rosabelle, was just amazing. And after her callback audition, I looked at Devon and Angela and I was like, I don't need to see anybody else. Like, this is my Ira. You know what I mean?
Nice.
But then the very next audition was Carly, who is now playing Astrid. And after that audition, I looked at them and was like, fuck, like, this is going to be a much harder choice than I thought, because Rosabelle crushed it, but then so did Astrid. And there was a bunch of other actresses who did really awesome as well.
Right.
But ultimately, we went with who we felt like was the perfect fit,
Cool.
And so the character for Astrid, I wrote into the script for Carly because she was so good in her audition. I was like, I have to have her in this. Okay. So I added a character for her. Same thing with the character Kara. She auditioned for Thora. Joanna, who auditioned for Thora, and I was like, man, I gotta have her too. Like, she's not my Thora, but like, I need her in this to play somebody else. So I added a few characters like during the audition process and rewrote the script again to fit them in. And honestly, it worked out because I think it made the story better.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think we've forced anything into the script.
Right. Yeah.
I just during the process, I just think meeting these actors and seeing their take on some of the characters we already had, it helped us come up with these new characters to add more to the story.
Yeah, it made your project go a little bit bigger than what it was.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
And I mean, the cat, like, I can't say enough how awesome the cast is.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot wait to shoot this thing in November.
I'm excited, man. I really am.
It's going to be so much fun.
And most directors won't do that for you.
Yeah.
Like, you did good, but you didn't do good enough. So that's a really cool thing about Leslie.
Yeah, I've heard that about, like, when auditioning, you get a lot of no's, you know what I mean? And that can be disheartening. And
more no's than yeses for most actors. Yeah.
What's that?
You get more no's than yeses for most actors.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. So, like, when you get any when you get no's, like, how do you feel about that? Like, it's just like, okay, maybe just go down, find another role, and then see about that, or
it just depends on how you get the no. Most of the time they just don't respond.
Yeah, half the time you don't even get a no. You just get ghosted.
you eventually see the casting and you're not on it.
Shit.
So it's like, oh, whatever. Then you kind of do some digging on the actor that took your role, and it's like, bastard, he sucks. He sucks. He's terrible. This film's gonna suck. So I did that with a buddy of mine a few weeks ago. He showed me a trailer of the film. Looks amazing. I was like, this thing looks stupid. I'm glad I didn't get cast.
Yeah, you got to.
Are you talking about the one that you and Brandon all auditioned for?
Yeah. We all auditioned for the same thing, different roles, but same. None of us got it. So then they showed it, and it looks like a really good production.
I've been following that production on social media, and
they've got a good budget, good everything.
They did a good job. It would have been cool to be a part of it.
We're not a part of it, so the actors suck.
So how do y'all go about, like, auditioning? Like, I've always wondered, like, as far as, like, locally, you know what I mean? I never thought about where to go.
There's levels to it.
Yeah. Most of the time I started out just with Facebook auditions, Facebook postings. There's plenty of Facebook groups nowadays, back then probably not, but since Facebook's so big, you can join so many groups and they'll just post castings, which is what Leslie did with a lot of all the casting, really. But there's also Backstage, Actors Access. There's actually websites that you can log on to, and then people will post their casting notices on there and stuff too.
And then there's also, once you get to the point to where you have an agent, agents are finding casting calls for you that we won't be able to see in these Facebook groups. I don't have an agent yet. It's kind of next on my to-do list for my career progression. But yeah, agents, even with apps like Actors Access, like, we can see stuff, but agents and casting directors can see more. Right. Okay.
Yeah, they can see more, give you a little bit more insight than just the paragraph that they posted.
Damn, yeah. So getting an agent is, it's kind of key to get
it. It's definitely a big thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the stuff you see on Facebook and Instagram and like the other social media casting calls are good productions, but they're not posting for, like, to go be in the new Star Wars movie, on Facebook.
Nothing too big. Yeah, a lot of it's not paid. It's more just practice.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it'd be good practice for whenever you do, like, I guess, audition for that big role or bigger role.
Some of the local casting agents, though, they do post some, like, network television stuff. in the Facebook groups.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of access to things without an agent, but having one definitely adds a whole new level to seeing what's out there.
Okay. I seen Ethan Hawke was like shooting a movie somewhere in Louisville or something like that. Like, did y'all know about that? Or
That was a couple years ago, I think.
I think it was last year.
yeah, I think it was last year or something like that.
I saw that. You know, my family sends me stuff that they see about big actors.
Yeah.
But it's all background stuff, so I'm kind of
You
trying to stay away from background because, you know, it's cool, but I've already done it so many times that it's, you know, been on set with big actors. I've seen them. I've done it. I'm trying to get better at my acting experience, you know.
Yeah,
you know, all background is just pretending to talk to somebody in the background, and you might get seen. Like Judas and the Black Messiah, there were probably 200 of us,
Right.
and they just kept moving us and moving us and moving us to fill this auditorium to make it look like thousands of FBI agents.
Oh shit.
And I don't even think you could see me in the whole film. And they only shot like 40 of them. You can only see like 40 of them at a time, and it's just. You know, you don't really get noticed. You don't really get.
It's cool if like that's what you want to do.
Right.
If you only want to stay in the background
some
just to
people are-
watch it, then
And
But
the cool thing about background is 9 out of 10 times you're getting paid
Right.
because it's like a major production, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're not getting paid a lot, but
you're not getting paid as much as the actors.
Could be a good side gig or something like that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
a nice
I did.
little.
My first experience on set ever, I did background for a feature film shot in Louisville. And over a course of like 3 or 4 days that I was able to go, I made like $400 or $500. You know, so it was good little side change. You know.
Yeah, my wife said a woman who goes to our daughter's dance recital classes. She was a background, and she said she got paid like a few $100s just sit in the background, and you know. And I think
depends on how long the day is.
I think they were paying us like $10 an hour, but we were there for like 12 hours a day, 13 hours a day.
That's another thing. You're
then I
gonna
gotta
get a
pay
lot
you
of sitting
overtime.
around and waiting just for your call.
Yeah.
But anything over 8 hours, you get overtime if it's a SAG film. You know, so.
And you might get to talk to some of the main actors. You know, I went to an after party with some of the main actors of the film.
That's cool.
But I don't even remember what the film was, to be honest.
Similar to Devon, like that's what got me into acting was I found myself doing background for this movie through a friend of ours from the Navy. His girlfriend was doing hair and makeup, and they were looking for background actors. So I was like, oh, sure, I'll do it. And I was literally from me to you, from Walton Goggins, Josh Lucas, Francesca Eastwood, and I got to watch them do this scene over and over again. And I was like, this is cool. I'm going to start doing this.
It's definitely, if you're wanting to dabble into the acting world, I definitely suggest doing background.
Okay.
It's definitely a good place
Just to see
start.
the pressure on the main actors, just to see, and you get to meet a lot of cool people.
And you get to learn what it's like to be on set.
Yeah, you actually get to see.
I've always wondered. man.
There's a lot of things that you don't see, obviously, when you're watching a movie or a show. So being on set for the first time, I was like, holy shit, like there's so much going on. And all these different things happening. And it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
So
A lot of good experiences. You meet a lot of cool people.
yeah.
Were you able to meet any of the actors that you were on set with? Or were they just kind of like did their parts and go to their trailers?
Well, Martin Sheen, before we started filming his scenes, you know, he came up to the whole group and was like talking to everybody, not really individuals unless they had an individual question and then he answered it, but he was also method acting as well. So he was still being Cooper from the FBI agents because of Black Panthers.
Damn, that's sick, man.
But, you know, big time actors that I could tell you the name, no, but, you know, I've done filming with actors that are paid actors that do stuff all around that just aren't huge, you know, like C, B list actors.
Okay.
I've hung out with them, talked with them. They all have agents and stuff like that, and kind of just get their insight and all that kind of stuff's really cool.
Yeah, I'd like to probably see about background, you know, acting, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of posting. I see it a lot, and I'm like, should I do it? I'm like, it's a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get 3 days off, man. But you know, like with my daughter and stuff like that, I got to watch her half the day on one of my days, and then the weekends are usually free.
Yeah.
You know, but this past weekend I had that dance recital, and it just consumed our whole weekend. Man.
Oh yeah,
Jeez.
yeah.
So those behind the scenes sneak peeks show off a killer crew, especially Jonathan Wade, the DP. So what's it been like working with such a dedicated bunch, and how's that impact how'd that impact the show's look?
Yeah, so I mean, we kind of alluded to this earlier when I was just shouting out my team, but Jonathan's been awesome, man. Like he's literally been since I finished the first draft of the script.
Right.
I posted on Facebook like, "Hey guys, I got this screenplay. What the fuck do I do now?" Right. And Jonathan immediately hit me up. I sent him the script. He was like, "This is a good story, but it's formatted completely wrong." You know, he was like, "This was written like a theater play, like not a screenplay.
Right.
You got to do this, 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 and this." So then I spent the next couple weeks
Revising
rewriting,
it,
formatting, and as I was doing that, it started getting longer and longer. But yeah, I mean, Jonathan, I mean, he's so great at what he does. He's a camera operator, but he's also a DP, which is his role on our show. I didn't know this, so for those that don't know, but a director of photography is also known as a cinematographer.
right?
I didn't know it was the same thing. Jonathan had to explain it to me because he was like, "Yeah, I'm director of photography," and I'm like, "Oh, that means you like take photos?" You know, he's like,
What
"No."
do you do?
Yeah, he's cinematographer, right? So, and then Angela, my AD, I worked with her on I had a small role in a pilot episode for another local production called Heights of Deception. Check it out if you haven't. It's pretty cool. I had a small role, played a bartender, but Angela was the AD for that. So I met her on that set. And then as I was looking for an AD, her name just kept coming up.
Right.
So eventually I was like, "Hey, like, do you want to come work with me?" You know, and she's been amazing. This industry it's all very new to me. But a lot of it is really like connection based.
Yeah.
You know, everybody has a recommendation for who they've worked with in different roles. So that's how I found the Shell brothers from Crucible Media. Austin and Dylan were recommended by Jonathan first of all, and then a few other people that I talked to had recommended them. And it just kind of like snowballs from there.
Yeah.
You know, Jonathan has his, you know, camera operators and gaffers and stuff that he likes to work with, and production assistants, and they bring all in their own crews and everybody that they brought in to help with the teaser trailer was awesome. Tommy Baker was awesome. Brandon Hendricks, our gaffer, was awesome. Yes, I mean, I without the crew that we have, I would be like, it would not look anything like what it looks like. You know, they've been so crucial to the production, and they're so good at what they do technically. It's allowed me to just be the creative.
Right.
You know, like I can actually focus on the story and what I want my actors to do, as opposed to like, you know, this camera shot was a little shaky. You know,
Right.
Jonathan's got that covered. You know what I mean? I can focus on what I need to do as the writer and director.
Okay.
So yeah, man, the crew is amazing.
Okay. So do you want to like pursue a career in writing and directing, or do you want to still act as well, or
I don't know.
just seeing where it goes?
I mean, I'd like to do both.
Okay.
I don't know if kind of like Devon, like it's not necessarily something that I'm throwing like everything into for a career. It's been fun to do on the side. I've got a really good job working in sports. I enjoy doing what I do. That being said, if somehow it worked out and I got to the point to where I could be a working actor or working writer, director, like, then I think it's absolutely something that I would
Love to do.
hang my hat on. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. That's cool, man. So you said you filmed the pilot in November. What'll be in it, and how does it set the tone for the whole show?
Yeah, so the pilot, I don't want to reveal too much.
Right.
I don't want to get into spoilers, but it's a very character-driven piece.
Right.
You know, it's a Viking Age, so there's going to be some battles and there's going to be some violence. But it's really about the characters,
Right.
and what drives them, what their motives are, what they believe is the right thing to do in that time period.
Right.
And there's themes of legacy, loyalty, betrayal, you know, family, brotherhood. It's got a lot of cool parts, a lot of really cool characters that the pilot, you're gonna get to learn about all the characters, but as we make the full season, like we're really gonna get to explore like these different character arcs and these different layers to these characters that are gonna be really cool as it kind of unfolds. That being said, I haven't written the script for the full season.
Okay.
I have I have like my outlines and my plan for where I want it to go and how I want it to end and what I want to happen along the way, but I haven't turned that into like a line by line script yet.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So with the teaser, I guess you dropped the teaser. So plus a crowdfunding campaign, what vibes are we going for in the trailer, and how can people chip in for the movie?
Yeah, so the vibes for the trailer, we really wanted to kind of drive home the concept of the shield, right? It's called Shield of the North. You'll have to watch the full episode, maybe the full season, to really understand what that means. Okay. So I don't want to give away too much there, but the teaser was really designed to, at a very basic level, was designed just to show people like this is what we're capable of. Like this is the production quality. This is, the kind of feel we're going for,
right?
To essentially help with our crowdfunding, because when people see the teaser trailer and they're like, oh, this is actually not bad. This is good quality. Like these guys are actually putting time and money and resources into this. So it makes people want to support it more, right?
Yeah.
If it was just some like poorly shot, iPhone, bad editing, bad sound quality, like then people are going to be like,
is it worth my money? No.
Yeah. So the teaser was designed to do that as a primary goal. Was to help just give some credibility to the project. As a first time writer director, nobody has any clue who I am. Mm-hmm. So why would people just be like, "Oh, I'm going to go support this guy"? I've never seen any of his work, nothing. So the teaser was also kind of a way for us to show, like, "Hey, this is my vision. Okay. This is my cinematographer's vision." This is what we're looking for as a team.
Sounds cool.
I'll ramble and ramble and ramble.
No, I mean, that's cool. It shows you passionate about it.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate you. As far as getting involved, we were posting the crowdfunding links pretty much daily on Facebook, Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram at Shield of the North Film.
Okay.
Facebook, you just go to the groups and search for Shield of the North, and you can join the group. But the crowdfunding campaign has a lot of cool perks that you can, it's a donation, but a lot of them you can just donate and not get anything.
Right.
If you want to do that, that's totally cool. I'll take your money, put it to good use. I promise.
Right.
But also a lot of the perks, like, we've got some cool ones releasing. One we're dropping on Thursday is going to be a prop used in the filming of the pilot, a shield, like what Devon brought today.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool shield, man. He showed me. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
So you made it, right?
Yeah. Help with my cousin, Dakota. He's a genius.
We've made like 4 of them so far, 3.5, maybe. Fourth one's not finished. Did you finish your 2? No,
just the one.
So we got 3. And yeah, it's going to be a perk where if you contribute the required amount for that perk, after we're done filming, the cast is going to sign the shield and we're going to mail it to you. So
that's cool.
It might not be anything initially, but who knows? Maybe this show's the next big hit on HBO, and now you've got this original prop.
Yeah, but
that
still
was handmade by one of the actors and the director. Then we've got another one. If you ever watch the beginning of a film or a show, you see like your associate producer, your executive producer. Producers are it's all about money, right?
Right.
So you can buy a perk that gives you credit in the film and on IMDb to be a producer.
Damn, that's sick.
We have perks for like posters signed by the cast and crew. We've got a bundle where you can get a bunch of stuff, posters, props.
Cool.
And if this show blows up, it's going to be an investment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. And we also have a couple opportunities where you could buy a perk that gets you on screen in the film. We have a prisoner of war perk where you can come and we have a scene that's going to be at a war camp, and there's going to be some, prisoners tied to some posts and stuff. And we have a perk to where you can come do that. We'll put you in, some nice, dirty, raggedy, old Viking clothes, cover you in some dirt and mud and blood, and
Make you look helpless.
Tie it to a post and make you look like you're just about done with life. And then, I mean, scenes could get cut, but more than likely you're going to get some screen time. Even if it's just a few seconds.
Damn. That's watch it's so bulky, man. But that sounds pretty cool, man. I mean, to donate and then potentially be a part of the film, or just the cast and crew just show their respects for you actually donating to that project. That's awesome, man. Because you don't really get that too much,
right? And I'll shout out to the cast again, because there's a lot of projects where the cast doesn't really get involved in the raising money aspect, the crowdfunding aspect, but our entire cast and crew has been like sharing and reposting and commenting, and some of the cast has donated themselves. You know what I mean? So our cast and crew and our families, we're putting our own money into the project as well. That's how serious we are.
That's cool, man.
About getting this done.
That's cool.
Also, I've had a couple private investors that gave us. We won't go into numbers.
Right.
They invested a decent amount of money. That really has kind of made everything we've done so far possible.
Yeah.
And a lot of their money is going to make our pilot episode possible. We still got some work to do to get to where we want to be budget wise, which is why we're doing the crowdfunding campaign.
Right.
But if we hit our goals for the crowdfunding campaign, we're going to be in a really good place financially to make this a good project. So, yeah, the more people that, even if you can't donate, like if you don't have the money, share it. Yeah, like it. Follow us on social medias like that. That stuff goes a long way.
Yeah.
Comment and reply to posts that you see and help us beat those algorithms that get our stuff out there for people to see.
For sure. Yeah.
And reach out to us. If you want to be involved and you don't have the money, if there's something you want to do, shoot us a message and we'll see what we can come up with. There's lots of ways that we can get people involved.
That's pretty cool, man. So for people who don't know much about Vikings, how you'll keep Shield of the North both historically, how will you keep Shield of the North both historically and accurate to a good story?
Yeah. Again, I talk so much, I've kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier. I'm answering your questions before you ask them. No, but it is historical fiction. We didn't, full transparency, we didn't spend years, with a research team,
right?
Finding all these different things. Like as a whole, we've done enough research, I think, or we've known enough, just from watching other shows or going to Renaissance fairs or reenactments and that kind of stuff. A few of my cast members are like legit trained, like competitive swordsmen.
Wow, really?
Yeah, like
that's cool.
Yeah, quite a bit of cast knows their Viking history. So I've been on the back scenes trying to catch up.
Right.
Yeah. Some of my cast members have taught me some things I didn't know, about the Viking Age. And I love the collaboration that I'm getting from all of them, and it's really helped us, just kind of be as historically accurate as possible. But at the end of the day, it is a fictional work, right? It is. So, there's going to be things, and it's the same thing with shows like, I don't know if I can say these legally, but shows like Vikings and The Last Kingdom and other Viking pieces or medieval pieces, like they're historically accurate to a point, but all the leather armor and different leather things you see, that wasn't really what they wore up until a certain point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and traditionally their armor would have been just like chainmail, and a shield, maybe a little bit of leather here and there, but the full like leather chest pieces and
so
all
that
that
was
stuff.
all just for like the screen and show and movie
Hollywood.
Set.
Yeah, it's Hollywood.
Makes you want to watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, it they did have some of that,
right?
And as we got further into the Viking Age and the medieval age, more of that was a thing, but initially, it was, it mostly chainmail and scraps of leather and metal bracers or, greaves instead of the leather ones that you see. So, I mean, our costumes are as historically accurate as they're going to be with the budget that we have.
Right. Okay.
You know, if we had unlimited money, sure, we can build a historically accurate Viking longship, you know, and throw it in the Ohio River. But
that'd be cool.
Yeah, maybe one day.
We need investors for that.
Yeah.
So, did y'all hit any type of production snags on the way? And how are you able to fix them and make the show a hit? Or I guess at least the pilot. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Honestly, I would say no. Like I don't feel like we've really had any major snags or setbacks. Everything's kind of worked out really, really well.
It flows really well.
Yeah.
Except
Hopefully,
for Thor, she kind of ruined some stuff, but we won't go into that.
Hopefully that's an indication of how things are going to go.
Okay.
When we shoot the full episode. But I think we have just such a dedicated and passionate team from top to bottom, behind the scenes, on camera, off camera, that it's just really just been smooth, and everybody knows what they're supposed to do except for me. And I have people telling me what I'm supposed to do. Excuse me.
Good.
So,
And that's getting him some acting experience, acting like he knows how to be a director.
that's right.
I mean, yeah. I won't say fake it till you make it, but you know.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know if I wouldn't say I'm faking it.
No, for sure.
He's learning as he goes.
But I'm definitely learning on the fly.
Right. Yeah.
He's doing a good job.
A skill I picked up in the military, so it transitioned to this project well.
Okay. Cool. That's what's up, man. So Devon, what's it mean to you personally seeing Shield of the North come to life, and what are you most stoked for folks to see when it drops?
Definitely just the quality and the story itself. You know, when Leslie, I guess a few months to a year ago, he brought it up to me. He's like, I'm writing a Viking film. You want to be in it? And I was like, sure, I'll be in another short film. You know, that's always fun. A good key to this industry is knowing people, you know, just like in life, you know somebody. A lot of the stuff I've done is because I've known the director.
Right,
you know,
right.
Hooked me up with a spot. Not that I didn't earn it or nothing like that, but, you know, he reached out to me. I'm in their minds, you know, just meeting people, meeting who you need to know to get some stuff going on, you know.
Yeah.
And then once he sent the script, and then he was telling me about what's been going on behind the scenes and who's all getting involved and all this other kind of stuff. And he's like, well, actually, it might be a feature film. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I can do that too, you know. And then he's like, actually, it might be a pilot series. I was like, all right, dude, I'm down for whatever.
Yeah,
you need help, let me know. So it's been really cool just to see it explode into what it's been, you know, especially first time writer, first time director. I've worked with first time directors or directors that's been doing a couple things, but they don't go for budgeting. They just want to get more experience. But now he's just going balls to the wall.
Yeah.
So
shoot, man, yeah. Why not?
Yeah, it's been a really great experience as an actor and as a producer. I'm gonna take that credit. First time producer, you know, I'm watching the casting calls and helping with the funding, getting promoting out there and all that kind of stuff, and helping behind the scenes, building some stuff. Shields are really cool once you see them.
Yeah, Devon's gonna be in the credits for like 7 or 8 different things.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Producer, actor, casting director, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so that's been really cool. And then, you know, I can always put that on my resume too.
Yeah, exactly.
And really, you know, once I see it, we just want to see the story because, you know, I've tried writing a couple things and I'm just like, I don't know where the hell I'm going with this. I'll just keep it as an idea. And now I know to keep it as an idea, give it to Leslie and let him write it up. So I'll just be the actor. So
okay, yeah.
Might have another Happy Madison production team coming up, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, shoot, they were all, you know, doing the same thing, you know, what you're doing right now. You know,
got to start somewhere.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. It's all about who you know. And that's another thing with this cast, you know. I've dealt with a lot of actors who are just about themselves. You know, this cast is more about the story and the production and everybody else.
That's
so
good.
we've only worked together one day, and that first day we all had a pretty good connection.
So y'all just
bonded. We just bonded. That's cool. We're all here for the same reason, not to get big and famous, but to get this cool ass story out for people to see, make some movie magic.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because I mean, you reached out to me about like helping support the show or whatever. So I was like, but like at first, I got to be honest, I didn't know you were talking about like the whole podcast thing, but then like when you reached out to me, oh shit, that's what you're talking about.
Like, I want to get your podcast out there too.
Yeah.
I've been listening to it a couple times. It's a sweet podcast. about helping each other out. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm all about that, man, to be honest. So did you say how long you've had the script in the making, or like the idea at least?
Yeah, so honestly, like I said, it started off as it happened really fast, to be honest with you. I think I started writing the script maybe 9 months ago, 10 months ago ish.
Cool.
I started writing it, and then I got it to where I wanted it to be for the short film, and then I, with some feedback from Jonathan and some other people, and I ended up just writing more and more and more and more, and that's how we were like, hey, this might actually be a feature film. But then I got to the point where I was like, okay, it's not quite long enough to be a feature film, but it's definitely way too long to be a short film.
Right.
I was like, okay, let's make it a pilot episode.
So what's the difference between, like, I guess the runtime between a feature film and a short film?
Yeah, so short films usually are in like, I think 10 to 15 minute range.
Okay.
I think max maybe like 20, 25 minutes.
There's a couple 30-minute ones, but that's pushing it.
Okay.
Especially if you want to like put them in like festivals and stuff, you have to
Right.
stay below the festival's requirements.
Okay, so they have time to show all the different feature films.
Yeah,
Feature
like
films
rules and stuff.
Yeah, and then feature films. I mean, shit. Nowadays, movies are 3 hours long, 2.5
Anything from
hours
an hour and
long.
a half to 2 hours, 3 hours.
Pretty much, pretty much an hour and a half up. I would say probably falls in that feature film realm. And from what I've been told, every page of your script roughly translates to like 1.5 minutes of screen time.
Whoa.
So with our script, we're looking right around, depending on what stays in the final cut and what doesn't. We're probably going to be in that 55 to 70 minute range,
Cool.
That's why we ultimately landed on a pilot episode. And people were like, "Do you have more story to tell?" And I was like, "No." I was like, it actually naturally kind of worked itself out to where, there's a nice cliffhanger at the end, where hopefully people are going to want to watch more.
Right.
And I fell in love with these characters as I was writing them. And like, I mean, if I had the resources and the funding, I'll make as many seasons as possible.
Right. Yeah. That'd be cool. So is there anything else like you're passionate about, like, with the Viking era? Is there any other like different things that you're potentially wanting to turn into a project?
Yeah, I mean, I love historical stuff, medieval Viking pieces. I love high fantasy, like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, that kind of stuff. Big Star Wars nerd.
Nice.
I do have a few. My ideas are kind of all over the place. I do have an idea for a comedy that's kind of like this one would be a feature film, and it kind of like along the lines of the old school comedies like Role Models and and those kind of
That's
movies.
Nice. That'd be cool.
And then I have an idea for a short film that is a very serious topic as a veteran, and that's like veteran suicide.
Oh, good.
Which there's actually a guy in Louisville who's working on one himself, and he let me read the script, and it was really good. So I kind of put mine on the back burner until I'm done with Shield of the North.
Okay, yeah,
type deal. But I can say the one thing that I'll probably never make is a horror film. The closest thing I would get to horror, I'd consider maybe like a zombie flick, or maybe like a suspenseful, like what's the Morgan Freeman Brad Pitt movie? Seven.
Yes.
Like suspense
thriller.
type thriller, but I won't dabble into the realm of ghost and horror.
Yeah, I like
possessions and that stuff.
Yeah, we got a buddy he's the horror guy. Big.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've already done one film with him as a horror. I'm actually working on another short film with him right now. That's horror. He loves horror. I'm trying to get him to get a horror comedy, kind of like Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I'm trying to do something like that.
That's cool.
I got into this realm just for comedy purposes, but I've only done one comedy film. I keep getting action and keep getting killed,
Yeah, Devon definitely tries to be the funny guy on set. So
It's natural.
It's all good.
We got to get him into the comedy at some point.
So, like, would you say like comedy is your genre that you're looking for?
Yeah, that's what I'm wanting to do more so of. You know, like all my films are stupid comedy. I like stupid comedy. You know, I'm a big Jim Carrey, big Adam Sandler fan, so I like to.
Yeah.
I like to be stupid.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite Jim Carrey and Adam Sandler movie?
Dumb and Dumber.
Okay.
For sure. Number one. Adam Sandler. And, you know, growing up, it was Big Daddy. But you got Happy Gilmore. There's too many Adam Sandler films, you know. Same with Jim Carrey, but Dumb and Dumber for me is just top of the key. But another Joe Dirt. Obviously, Adam's not in it, but it is a Happy Madison production. Joe Dirt's one of my favorite movies, and
that is a good
I can quote pretty much the whole movie. I want Sandler to make a Sandler universe.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got Waterboy meeting Joe Dirt, and they're over there hanging out, you know. I feel like that could be pretty funny. And then, obviously, me in there, too. It's my idea, Adam, so I got to get in there.
Yeah. I love me some Waterboy, man. Like, I can tear up some Waterboy.
Yeah, actually sent an email or a letter to Adam Sandler for inviting him to my wedding.
Really?
But I got sent back. It did not get delivered. I looked up the address and it was like, this address does not exist. I was like, shit. I still have that letter just in case I meet him. I'll give it to him, you know, but obviously the wedding's
already passed.
Right.
Yeah, but if he wants to if he wants to come, I'll redo the wedding. The wedding's fun. That won't be a problem.
That's awesome, man. Okay, so I think we're at a coffee shop, by the way. So I think they're about to close at 9. I don't know if they're kicking everybody out. Is there anything else that y'all would like to add before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, thanks again for having us on,
problem,
man.
No problem
really
at all.
appreciate you giving us the platform to talk about our project.
Yeah, times.
And yeah, it's cool. You know, it's just a cool project to be on. I'm glad we've got the support that we do. Again, I'll just plug social media. Go follow us.
Shield of the North.
Share with your friends. If you can contribute financially, you know, please do. I promise you your money will go to good use. And if you want to invest big dollars, reach out to me directly and we'll put together a contract that hopefully gets you some money in return on the back end.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Anything for you, Devon?
Just thanks for letting us be here, talk about this awesome project. Like he said, the more funding, the more support we get, the more chance it can blow up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Trying to get it streaming so we ain't got to just show it on YouTube. Show it
Right, yeah.
Tubi or something cool.
Right. Yeah. And I just want to say, I appreciate y'all showing up, man. You said earlier, you know, we kind of, you know, been rescheduling and stuff like that. Yeah. But, you know, I'm glad we're finally, you know, sitting down and actually doing this. I'm not gonna lie, I've been like super nervous like this whole entire time because I just want to make sure I do this like show justice, you know what I mean? By like showing the support and getting it out there and everything, and I just don't want to like, you know, mess any of this up, you know.
Nah, man, you ain't know about that. Just having us on is just awesome. So again, I truly appreciate you for doing that.
Yeah, that's no problem, man.
And my last plug, you got to give a shout out to my wife.
Yeah.
She's been super supportive of everything. We've got a newborn at home, so a lot of my time has been spent working on this project, and she's been nothing but supportive and cool about everything.
That's
so
awesome.
She's my number one fan. I love her to death, and I do this for her at the end of the day, you know, and my kids. So I just want to give her the props that she deserves.
Yeah. Shout out to her and shout out to everybody involved, man. Like for real. Like I said, I keep saying this with seeing the trailer. Like I've been telling people, I'm like, man, it looks like it's going to be really good. I've been talking to my manager about it, and he even heard about it. Like before I even like, you know, mentioned it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because he's like, they're shooting it in this location, right? I'm like, yeah. So he knows about it.
Yeah, that's another thing. Sorry to keep adding on, but
you good.
They can throw us out if they want.
Right. Yeah.
We can take them.
Shout out to the Kentucky Renaissance Fairgrounds in Eminence, Kentucky. That's our location for shooting the whole thing. It's a really cool area. They got a lot of cool, you know, buildings and fields and wooded areas and stuff that we're using that really are going to help us sell the fact that we're in Norway, in Kentucky. You know? So shout out to them. If you've never been to the Kentucky Renaissance Fair, it's going on right now every weekend all summer long. I definitely recommend it. Go check them out. The support we've gotten at the local level from, you know, locations to actors to crew members to our families, man, it's just been incredible.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. One more thing. Shout out to my wife as well. You know, I got a new baby coming too. So
really?
Yeah,
nice.
due in September. So obviously, once we shoot November, 2-month-old. So she's supporting me, let me do this, and with the new baby, it's gonna be a little difficult, but we're gonna get it done. So I appreciate her as well.
Yeah. Shout out to her too, man. Yeah, that's what's up. Well, guys, that's gonna be the show, and like I said, tune in for this episode and make sure y'all do your part to share Shield of the North. Like, go to follow them on the Facebook. I'll share all the links in the description, as well as like I'll be posting on Facebook. So if you follow me on Facebook, you'll definitely see me share everything in regards to Shield of the North. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. All right. Peace.